Hello there. It is Wednesday. It means that I'm inviting you to incredible world of Kong Builders, place where we're building stuff in cloud native technologies world using Kong tools or some other open source tools. And I will be your host today. My name is Viktor Gamov. I work as a principal developer advocate here with Kong. And if you join us for the first time, write down in the comments if you can hear us, you can see us. I see at least one person is watching right now. Hopefully there will be more, because today, as always, for some reasons my button is not working properly today. As always, I have my friend and colleague from partner engineering, Danny. Welcome to Kong Builders. It's great to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me back. I'm Danny in the partner engineering team. So I work on stuff like integrations with our cloud providers or some of our other fun technology partners, things of that nature. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and it's always pleasure to have you, and especially today because before the stream, Danny just like messaged me and said, "Hey, I have actually like prepared for this show." Like I was like, "What? It's not how we're doing here. Like no one does that." And she was like, yeah. So there would be some diagramming and maybe even some back and forth between us. She will be sending some code snippets, so I will be executing my Kubernetes cluster and so far and so on. So once again, folks, if you're watching us live, please in the comments, like if you're watching us in the LinkedIn, I know that it's becoming a quite popular destination for many of those for many of those streams. So okay, great. Amruta, second time already join us. It's great to have you back on the stream. Like we start getting some of the regulars, right? Need to we need to more regulars. Please, please join us. When you join us for the first time, as always, write down where you're coming from. It can be location, it can be town, it can be country, and also what your favorite drink today. For me today, it's just a water. Danny, what are you drinking today?
I'm also drinking a lot of water today, actually. Good question. I'm going running after this live stream.
Oh, nice. Are you training for something um, like, or just running like
just
recreational?
Torturing myself.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Is it like a part of the like a therapy session, right?
Yeah, it's like a good way to get out of the house, right? When you work remotely. So I just kind of like go running, and now it turned into running every day, maybe 5-6 miles.
Oh,
what are you doing?
That's pretty good. Are you running with the music, or are you running this like without music?
No, my husband let me upgrade my Apple Watch to have the one where I can have like its own cellular, so I get to listen to music while I run. It's
Yeah,
really
the same
nice.
same here. also running with the Apple Watch Ultra that can listen to my music. Some people say that
Yeah.
you should develop this skill running without music because you should better focus on your breathing, focus on other things, and also for therapeutical reasons, it's also bad. The kind of like you're trying to block some of your the ideas or your thoughts with some music. It's better to focus on those and kind of like use this moment um, to. What are you thinking about, folks? Like you running with music or running without music? I'm actually running with music. I cannot do anything without music. That's
I
it's
can't do
you
it
already.
either. No,
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
many of you should figure out by now, like all this like visual and musical effects that we have on the stream. You know, without music, it would be very very boring. All right. Um, it's great that we're going live right now, and the reason why we usually don't do that, like we're usually trying to keep maybe like 2 streams per month with a few weeks apart. um but I thought that last time we didn't talk much about everything, so we kind of like, okay, so let's do a follow up quickly so the people will have the material in their hands quicker. And yeah, so that's why we're coming back. So just to remind you, I don't have this like the visual effect, but I know that Emily, she's in the background and she can post this link somewhere in the comments from our previous episode. If you haven't seen this, in the previous episode of Kong Builders, me and Danny start exploring a integration that landed in the Kuma in the Kong Mesh 2.2 integration with the OpenTelemetry format. For we'll show you how we can enable things with traces. And today we continue to explore this because some of the things that we touched we didn't show the last time, and hopefully we will show this time. And at this time, Danny came prepared with some of the presentation that I'm passing this microphone to Danny.
Okay, cool. Well, the in the first video, we kind of started from the beginning. Well, Vic started from the beginning, and I was really just wingman. I still am wingman, but I was behind on the open telemetry collector, and I wanted to spend a few minutes figuring out what was going on in the space. And I noticed Vic was coming here to look up a lot of the configs. We're at open telemetry docs page, and so I wanted to kind of like revisit that really quickly so that we're all make sure that maybe some of us are new to OpenTelemetry. We're kind of all on the same page before we move on to the next step. So, what I learned this morning was it's about receivers, processors, and exporters, and then also connectors. But we're going to ignore connectors and move down to services and pipelines and how we hook this all up. And this is about describing about what the Helm chart needs in order to go from beginning to end, right? So with that, receivers, processors, exporters, services, and pipelines. And then I'm going to move over to Scala so we can kind of talk about it from here.
Talk about the flow of the things, and this is the professional you talking right. You hearing the talking right now, folks. Like she came prepared with like all this drawing and stuff. That's awesome.
I drew it out because sometimes we're
walk
visual.
us through this.
I mean, I don't know if you're visual, but I'm visual.
I'm super visual. Yes, I'm super visual. I'm trying to use like all possible visual tools. I even learned how to do the tools for, the drawing on my screen when I'm doing this type of live cast. So, but Excel draw, it's great. It's a great tool. Love it. I love this kind of like a handwritten style. So
I do too.
yeah,
it's been a go-to
cool.
lately. Yeah. Okay, so the OTel collector, we've got receivers, exporters, processors, and pipelines. So inside receivers, I have a cheat sheet here, so let me look at this. Receivers where we define any data that we want imported into our OTel collector. So we've got different types of receivers. We've got OTel, we've got Jaeger, Prometheus, Zipkin, and a lot of other options. I'm just kind of concatenating here. So the first
So
thing we do in the Helm chart,
essentially, it's some
yeah,
sort of kind of like a listener that exposed by this collector, and something systems will push some data into this receiver. So from perspective of OpenTelemetry collector, it is it's a push, right?
it's a push or pull. I'm pretty sure in the docs. Do you want to check? We can check real quick. If we go to receivers, a receiver, which can be push or pull based, is how data gets into the collector.
Okay,
I think
that's
it depends
interesting.
on the type of receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe for example, like Prometheus is originally a pull. Okay. Next, so that's a receiver, and then processes were optional. So once you get data ingested into the OTel collector, then you can kind of transform it, and that's what process is for. And you don't necessarily need to use it if you don't plan on doing any transformation, like to a different format or things of that nature. But that's what a processor is for.
Yeah, the beauty of this of the processor, I think here we're also using this as a kind of we're not sending each and every metric immediately. We're using the processor to batch things, as far as I can tell. So it's kind of like a creates a set of records that after that we were pushing towards the exporters.
I did not
So
know
because
that.
if we open our the where's my open telemetry that we did, and I switch back to my screen real quick. So yeah, we use these processors that essentially default batch processor that we can also configure how these metrics will land into exporter.
So is that like a best practice? We should just kind of consider batching best practice with the processor.
So in the previous life, I was like always streaming. So some folks who know from my previous life was all about data streaming, Kafka, and all this type of stuff. I was like always be streaming. However, sometimes your system where you placing your records needs to support streaming. So for example, in the Kafka situation, the streaming would be there's never push. So Kafka itself
Yeah.
provides you with the kind of the way how the data would be like a natural.
Yeah, you're right. Kafka is also a receiver, so it kind of may
Yeah,
depend. Yeah,
right.
I
So
see what you're saying.
essentially, it's kind of like it's a pipe. But batching here is actually a very good thing to use because first of all, there's some situations where the systems that will be receiving that exporter will be talking to might have a limitation on API calls. I don't know. Like maybe you maybe you
Yeah.
posting this in Twitter, and there's an exporter that we're posting in Twitter, and the last week Twitter has a little bit of a meltdown, and rate limiting was exceeded for certain tweets. But hey, I sorry for that. Couldn't resist the spun. You know what we need to do, Danny? So what we need to do? We need to do write down in the comments if you will enjoy this type of show. So we're gonna start like after maybe in a few weeks. We're gonna start new show where we're gonna be demystifying all things rate limiting. We're gonna
Oh,
break
I was going to
down
ask
the
you about that.
things. Yeah, rate limiting
I want to do that.
on ingress, rate limiting between the services, global rate limiting across the mesh. So we can talk about different algorithms. We can bring different configurations where the rate limiting can be stored in memory and Redis. So write down in the comments if you would enjoy this type of show here at Conk Builders. Here's, I'm full of cool ideas.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that this morning. I was doing a bunch of, uh, I was like doing this open telemetry, but then I was like also just kind of stressing over rate limiting and navigating that space as well. So, perfectly honest, it's on my mind. I'm ready for
Yeah.
it.
So in this case, like back to the topic. So essentially, the batching prevents us to not send every metric and maybe use the bandwidth more efficiently. So I would say the batching is the best practice. It's good practice here in the Open Telemetry Collector, and every docs that I've seen, and we potentially can also talk to some of our SRE teams here inside the conk, and what if they're using something like this. Maybe they're also using like some batch strategy. This things needs to be also tuned based on your environment and the rate of your metrics. So here we go. Like we're getting some responses. People already would love to hear some of the rate limiting session. Yep, that's cool. That's a cool idea. All right. Sorry for interrupting you, Danny. You can continue with
No,
your flow.
this is good. So we've got receivers. We need to ingest different formats and different types of. I don't want to say different types of. Well, we've got traces, metrics, logs, different types of information.
Data, events,
events. From our different endpoints, it could be microservices, it could be Envoy, it could be Kuma. Okay, so we've got to define those receivers and what types they are. So in this case today, we're focused on OTel, and then it gets to the collector. We just talked about processors and why you may want to use batching, and then the next thing we need to define are exporters. So where exactly you want the data to be funneled to for like the back end. And so in our case, and there's different types of exporters. OTel, I could put the same thing: OTel, Jaeger, Prometheus, Zipkin. But today we're going to be using Honeycomb still, I presume.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty cool.
It allows us not to focus much on actual infrastructure for ingestion, even though we could use things like Jaeger that I usually use for my demos. We could continue to use Honeycomb. We can use the Datadog in maybe in the future. So I did the stream where I showed how to use the Datadog and Gateway in all these traces.
Yep.
One last thing that we also, before we jump into configurations and things like that. So the number 4, the policy that we defined would be created on the mesh side of things. So essentially, you don't have to use service mesh for in order to OpenTelemetry to work. In order to work this in your application, you need to instrument your application by bringing OpenTelemetry libraries, because you need to encode and decode your events that happen in your application into OpenTelemetry format. You can do this manually, or you can just use libraries that are already doing that. And the huge difference that, or I like to say this as a benefit, even though I'm a huge kind of like a library buff, and if a library can do something for you, just not reinvent this yourself, just like use the library. However, your microservice will become not so micro anymore if you're trying to put just too many libraries there. And also taking care of the things like versions of the library, different versions of the microservice will need to have either concerns around compatibility of these libraries. So those libraries will have same capabilities across not only versions, but across different platforms and languages and things like that. So with Service Mesh, since we're running this on the side of data plane, so data plane will be running alongside with the application. So application doesn't have to include those libraries. Your code doesn't require to do anything specific, even though you want, you still can. And also, the data planes will be measured by control plane and versions, and the version of the libraries and integrations and all these kind of things will be available. And more importantly, that the policies is a declarative way to have this configuration, so you don't have to. Each and every application will include like configuration of itself. You can change those policies based on whatever use cases suits to your needs. So let's see if we still have my my cluster is up and running. Switching the screen. So just to refresh, what do we have here? We do have 2 applications. One is a meeting application, another application is the work application. When we click in work, we go into meetings, and on the meetings, we're going to sleep. and we have a gateway. Kuma has built-in gateway. We're not gonna bring the big guns here, even though the con also capable of working with Kuma. And when I call this service, I will just go send. So what will call? It will call gateway. It will call work application. Work application will call repeat on the interval. We'll just create a little bit on traffic side of things. And inside my honeycomb, we see less 10 minutes. We see some requesters coming, and we will just see by status codes 200. So things are getting
There.
good.
Yes, we're seeing traces. Yeah.
We can do what we can do before we jump into this. In my let me show you Kuma for Java, previously known Kuma for devs, previously known as a Kuma for Java developers. Just a different screen. Where's my too many windows? Very difficult to too many windows. Difficult to control those. I would like to introduce. I would like to introduce some of the failures. So, for this, I do have the failure fault injection here. Fault injection is the policy that allows to specifically inject some of the problems, and 50% of requests will fail, and 50% of requests will report status 500. So, if I will apply this, I would go into mesh, and I just do fi.yaml. Fault injection was created. So we're expecting that now I have only one meeting or two meetings instead of four, because we go into every meeting. Every meeting will include 4 calls for meeting. Each call will include 250 milliseconds of delay, so total 1 second. So the beautiful thing about tracing is that we immediately can detect some of the failures. Specifically here, we can see two codes, and we start collecting this information, and we can immediately react in the on our dashboard. So if I would like to go instead of status code, I can say have a dashboard that will do, say, errors and group by error. So error that 11, and we can get some of the additional information, hopefully. Yeah. So we do have we can see where the problem is happening. So why there's two things that are important to point out in these particular scenarios. First one is that traces allows you to see the problems in interaction, how, like, where's these problems will happen. Because we included this error between two specific services. So when the request will go to meeting service, we're gonna fail 50% of requests. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that having the policies like fault injection, it's not only useful for demos and showing how how you can have the errors. There's a concept, Danny. Do you know this concept called game day?
Isn't that associated to chaos engineering?
Exactly. Yes, you're right. So essentially, there is a concept where teams of site reliability engineers. Let me put some so cool graphs while we're talking about the stuff, so we can see these errors. Also, the teams of site reliability engineers, they performing these tasks about simulating how the system will behave in situations where, say, we can create few scenarios for our game day, how we're gonna expect system to behave. Specifically, we want to know that our alerting system will notify us if 50% of requests will start failing. So that's assumption that we can put as a kind of test scenario. And we, using the tools like fault injection for service mesh, we will be able to simulate this. And one of the assumptions, one of the results of this can be, oh, yes, our system behaved exactly as we planned. So we got notifications, we got the logs, and it's all good. Another output of this exercise could be, oh, now we know that some of the systems that we didn't know previously actually depend on another system. And when we introduce this failures, we now see that our one of the microservices is not resilient enough. Maybe it doesn't properly handle all these errors. Maybe it's properly handles and not log those errors. So using the concepts that can declaratively inject some of the failure scenarios and have a constant observability of the things, I think that's the beauty that your infrastructure can provide. One of the things that I like to, and also we can see probably service name. Yeah, it's a service name that throws these errors. Another thing that I like to say about service mesh, it is not for technically for developers, even though we're trying to talk to developers about this. But service mesh is for people who building platforms. Like you're building the application. No one is building application anymore. Everyone's building platform. So service mesh provides you with the capabilities to build a kind of platform on top of your platform, your software-defined network platform where everything is configured and the security is declarative, everything is automated. You can inject failures. You can control the traffic by just like implementing different policies. So that's kind of like a little bit more on the conversational side of this stream.
So if it's not for developers, what would you want developers to know?
It is for developers, but different type of developers, like a platform engineering developers. Okay, so let's see. There's some question. What's the difference between using? Let me stop the insomnia, and we can talk about this.
OpenTelemetry.
Yeah. So like, and we will bring the comments in a second. Where is it? Yep. Yeah, we talked about this in the very beginning, Danilo. Like, what's the difference between using service mesh with the OpenTelemetry or using OpenTelemetry outer instrumentation for the services? It's both. It's just like you have a integration on outside of your service, and you have a something that you need to compile and put this inside your service. So it's just a matter of, what style you prefer. Yeah.
Got it.
Libraries.
Good
essentially.
Question.
Great question, and let's continue digging. So now, okay, so we going into. So now we also want to bring the logs inside inside our system. So we want the outside of our system. So the extract the logs from the services and push them into Honeycomb. Now, so let's see configuration. So we're going to be using this mesh access log. Previously, there was a traffic log policy. Now we're going to be using like a mesh access access log to configure. One of the formats, blah blah blah. We're interested in the configuration. So that's our log outgoing traffic for specific front-end version to backend service. We're interested on log all incoming and outgoing traffic. That's what we're gonna be.
Oh, interesting.
That's what we're gonna be using. We're gonna be using OpenTelemetry as a backend to do this. So let's copy paste this into. Okay, so we're gonna do file hotel mesh. Yeah. So let's take a look. What do we have here? So default mesh.
Cog mesh namespace is wrong.
We don't need this. So delete this section if you don't want to log incoming traffic. So why we want everything, and let's keep the comments. So now we're going into backends, and for the backends, the list of the possible backends available here, we're looking for OpenTelemetry. So we're going into backends. Obviously need to fix the YAML indentation. So we're going into OpenTelemetry endpoint type, OpenTelemetry endpoint. What did I break? Backends. Okay. What is happening?
It needs to be, I don't know. It says from target ref and default should be aligned. Looking at the sample. Wow, it looks is.
From to
two needs to be aligned with from. Yeah, that looks right.
Okay. Now,
but what line 5? The namespace. Kong mesh system.
It doesn't matter because those resources usually mesh wide, not the namespace wide. So let's take a look. That's our OpenTelemetry backend that we're gonna be using. We know we already configured this and we know that it works. YAML. It's always YAML. Okay.
It's true.
We're gonna be using this fella. So now we expect this policy. We're gonna go into the Kong builders folder. Oop, wrong folder. 06. Okay, so just do with the hotel. Mesh access log. Okay. A reference error. Mesh access logs version cannot handle as strict coordination and no field spec 2.0 backends. That's my lame YAML thing. So let's take a look one more time. What's the backends type? OpenTelemetry. Okay. Type OpenTelemetry endpoint. Goes type.
Oh, backends is indented. Yeah. It's
always great to have this. I have this like a rainbow. It's called a rainbow brackets highlight thing. Okay, so namespace convention system is not found.
You're
You're
in
right.
IntelliJ, right?
No, yeah, you were right,
Mm.
Danny. When we're talking about
Namespace.
namespace, yeah, just like default for whatever.
It's just going to go to default.
Okay, admission hook validation cannot be created in the system namespace Kuma system. Okay. We will be a little bit more I forgot to open all and service. We're gonna do, where's the control plane? Kuma system control plane.
Port forward.
Just we can see UI. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
5. So we're gonna do default mesh. Inside default mesh, we're gonna have policies. We're looking for mesh access log and the affected data plane proxies. So those two data plane proxies should start reporting. Let's see if we can have this inside the honeycomb. So we have events, and that's the spans. Let's see how we can see honeycomb open telemetry logs. So do we need to configure anything specific here?
I thought you need to configure the pipelines, the service pipelines for the different data types, so it knows to send it to Honeycomb.
So we already have this configuration for Honeycomb.
But
That's what I'm trying to see. Do I need to actually?
But in the pipelines, it has 3 different subsections. It's got one for traces, metrics, and logs. Oh, I thought they would be 3.
Yeah. So receivers, processors.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, let's do this. So
yeah, because you just got the traces. Yeah.
So we can do. Technically, I think that should do the thing, right? So it potentially should use the same thing we're gonna do in honeycomb endpoint batch. So they have examples of like getting all the logs from Kubernetes events, which we're not gonna do this. Okay, let's try this one. Where are we? Helm upgrades my telemetry collector with the values. Good. We're going into, let's see, collector, getting something. Okay, log collector. Let's see if there's anything else we need to do. OpenTelemetry logs. Let's see if we're getting any data here. So now how we can see traces. Which I'm looking which honeycomb thingy will allows me to see logs.
Yeah, good question.
And also, let's see if we it's the logs. Doesn't show all the things. Because we're not generating any traffic. Yep.
That's funny.
Okay. We'll start getting some information. See, Exporter
Logs, name,
type of
logging,
logs.
cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's see if the honeycomb UI will change somehow. Total events. Let's see. Recent events. So we're getting traces. It's all good. How we can see total errors.
Is there anything on our boards, maybe? No.
I need to create the 12 minutes ago. That's looks like a traces, so it's not like a super fresh one. Query. I was wondering if we should have less than minutes. It's still getting some of the data, status codes. Everything works. Where it puts the logs? I'm interested. It clearly works. You see, there's a logs, logging, severity number unspecified. So good. Yeah, that's the log
That's
that
the
I sent.
collector logs. Okay.
Yeah, that's the log of the collector.
I wonder if you need to make a dashboard. Ooh, how'd you find that? Logs.
So like say what I know about those logs. So where's the let's see. Let's see what kind of this we created the log, structured log. Bodies exist. Okay. Okay. So just like I change the structure. I'm wondering. Okay. So applications, blah blah blah. Then run your application logs honeycomb located in a data set that matches your configuration. Okay. Let's see. We have a data sets home. Where's our data sets? Data set settings. That's the we're getting data here. Let's see. Maybe we do have some comments about this. No comments. No one is the one to hang out with us. Let's see. Service map SLO.
That matches your configuration service.
I was wondering if I can switch to kind of like to pro without entering credit card, just like kind of trial.
Oh yeah. No, is it possible?
Maybe it's let's see. View and compare plans. Pro OpenTelemetry support. Instrumentation options. Triggers. Distributed tracing. Bubble up. Detail pricing chart. So it really doesn't matter. I think that's all the events that we sent here. I think I'm missing. I just like I'm one click from from discovering this thing. So we do have a traces. Why we don't see?
Can we query for something?
Let's try to do the show requests. That's the stuff. Oh, I'm interested. Okay, so maybe let's try to do another thing. So we're gonna usually the traces can be correlated to some log information. Maybe there's a way how we can get the logs from the particular you know, kind of like when you look into
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
errors, you can have like a log that allows you to drill down into um so let's see what kind of like a log information we can extract from application. Work, uh going to meeting. Okay, that's the log that we're looking for. That was so stupid. Yeah, so let's do query. uh tu- tu- tu.
Oh, suggested queries. Hmm.
That's the raw data metrics.
Results, metrics, raw data,
Raw data, that's I think that's the, you know, the traces that
trace.
we're getting. Yeah, the trace. But how we can see a log in telemetry logs? Send data to Honeycomb. Okay, working with your data. Let's see. Um, and specifically, we would be interested in quick examples. Explore trace data. I'm curious if it's something that's something. Let's see, log.
But a trace isn't going to have an error message, right? There isn't an error analysis example.
Existing logs. Source OpenTelemetry connect with each receiver its own options. Let's take a look. Do we have exporter? Yes, we do have exporter. That's the honeycomb exporter. We have a logging ones. Let's, you know, as usual, let's do let's bounce it. Always helps to, you know, try to turn on and turn off. Um, so let's see if it's actually connected to something somewhere. That's the log. Exporter type. Mesh access log. Okay. Cluster name. Even though maybe there's not correct cluster name. So the collector is working. Collector does something. And I don't see any other errors here in terms of I think we're missing something like very simple.
It's hard to tell.
New query.
I feel
Raw
like
data.
raw data.
Okay. Quitting metrics. I like how the Loki does the thing. It's just like immediately all the logs are there.
Yeah. I feel like they're there.
So there's tons of data. There's a tons of data. So we need to. So next time we need to bring the expert in the honeycomb. So they will tell us what we're doing wrong with the with our thing. So we have a span. How we can get down to unknown log source. Okay. Unknown log source. Okay, we're getting something. Okay, let's see. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
How did you do that?
Unknown log source. Let's see raw data.
Mesh access log.
Yep, that's our guy.
Cool. Okay. It looks, there's a question from Nikki in the chat. It looks like the OTel piece is working.
No. We already changed that. Yeah, we already changed that. We already figured out. So it looks like it just was we were looking at the wrong place. Now let's take a look. So we have some data here. Now let's try to definitions.
But you're not wrong. Yeah, it's still needed. We did need to add that section, but we got it done.
Yeah, so just to show this, in our mesh access log, yeah, we changed this to OpenTelemetry, our in cluster thing. Okay, so 5 seconds. Board must be query must be named. Retention and usage. So we're going into queries and let's show requests. Okay. And can we do raw data? How we can dig into deeper? So all, let's see, timestamp. We have it. Have all the fields. I'm wondering, there's
if you can
name.
see the actual log.
Yeah. We have some data. We have something here, but
Curious.
Yeah. Not 2 hours. Let's 10 minutes. Looks like hours, no? Like the data that was sent. Let's see.
Yeah, because it just started.
Okay, let's I'm just like clicking around. I'm just trying to see all data sets. But why it is also unknown?
I don't know. I wonder if we're like missing an annotation or something.
Yeah, it's not the count. Visualize. We want to do not the count. We want to have well, at least it works. It sends some data. We see some data is coming. I'm trying to see if there's anything there. that can tell me what is going on here. Let's see how I can copy it to the
Oh, did you
broadcast.
do? I
Docs
wonder. I
export
wonder. I
and
wonder.
yeah.
Yeah, in the exporters, there's the X honeycomb dataset.
Yeah, it's the
And I think,
name of the data set for this.
yeah, I think that's probably why thinks it's unknown.
Okay. So what I can
Like,
do
I think you
here,
could just fill it in with anything, maybe, possibly.
um,
Because it just says use your preferred dataset name here. So I feel like you could define what the dataset is.
something like this.
Yeah.
There was another link that Nikki sent. So OpenTelemetry specs, protocol exporter, endpoint URLs for. Okay, so let's take a look. What are we talking about here? OpenTelemetry. So we're talking about what? We're going into spec protocol exporter. We're talking about to. For some reason, I cannot copy link from
Oh, that's weird.
docs. We're going into docs, specs hotel. Protocol and exporter, and we're talking about what? Endpoint URLs for. Where is it? Specification.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Exporter.
Go down to the endpoint. Yeah, right there.
Based on the environment above, or TLP HTTP export must construct URL for each signal. So logs, okay. Okay, interesting. So, okay. So let's try this. So inside here, we just do something like this, right? That's what the that doesn't make any sense because it is a gRPC. With gRPC, there's no such thing, or it is. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't think it is. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I don't think. The problem is that let's see if our change will help the one that data set name that we change. At least we know that the things what we're doing in data is coming from right place. Just refresh
You're
it.
sending a request still.
Yeah, we still sending. Thing that we always can do, just like, because it feels like Helm is ignoring me and is not bouncing the pods, so I need to do this myself. Okay. So our configurations actually does something, and we're getting this as a data set for our recent
Nice.
events. Okay, so here's the thing that we're getting: the mesh access log. Um, let's see. Maybe we're not sending enough information here. So let's see in the configuration file what we can configure. Um, policy easy setup access log for it's an access log. It's just like it's not like we're
Oh,
getting.
it's the
I'm
access log.
it's
You need to
it's
change something.
yeah. So it's not like I'm getting the logs of the system. Okay, so let me see. I'm being dumb. Um, but wait. Uh, traffic log. That's the traffic log. What this is what I was using to collect all this information. Um, and also see there's a config that we might want to tweak. So let's take a look. Also I also have a working config. Let's see how they big. All right, so some we might not send enough data. So Kuma gives a full control over the format of the access log. Shape of the single record defines by template. And for example, start time, Kuma service, Kuma destination, Kuma duration. So it is not it's not capturing the log of the system. It captures the log how one system calls another system. So we can use this formats and attributes. That moment when you kind of like realizing this. Remember this yeah, Princess Bride moment. You keep using this word, but I don't think you you know what this actually means. Like you keep using the word the log. Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
pretty
the
good.
endpoint. Let's see. Attribute is key start time, and also just do this one. So yeah, data is there. Data, we send the data. We might need another stream to figure this out, but hey.
It's connected.
Yeah. Update. Where is it?
Type.
Our system. Yeah. Less 10 minutes. So yeah, so we were able to send the data there. So data is coming, and this is the access login from one service calling to another service. We will be able to get. So in this case, where's the query assistant? Where's this latency? Whatever. Just yeah, like showing something. So apart from the traces, we have also access log to the thing. I will explore how, like, I've seen that in the past the service mesh was collecting the logs inside my let's start
Inside your
over.
mesh.
Yeah. So suggested queries, count of events. It's not interesting. Latency distribution by status code. Let's see. Let's do all data sets. Latency distribution by status code. Okay. And status code, why? The status code should be Group by status code. We don't have status code. Status code comes from Mesh Gateway, maybe. Where's the status code? Why I'm not seeing my status code, meaning work application? Let's see.
Is it on the?
Okay, that's better. That's better. And
I don't think the Kong version is an issue. It's just a comment. Need to switch Kong version. I think the Kong version is okay. We have the data there.
No,
I think with the
No, I think it's kind of like a, hey, I saw you guys doing stream. I need to switch version 2.1 to 3.3 to Kong if it's possible. In order to do this, we do have docs for that. If you go into Kong, there should be something like a gateway and where's the search migration? Some sort of migration guide doesn't have it.
I think it's upgrade for Mesh. I think is the key term.
We're going into Kong production and something like upgrade and migration. So if you want to go and learn how you can upgrade your Kong, here's the answer for you. 2.1 to 3. 2.x, 2.7. Is it direct upgrade possible? No. So, dear Sharan, you can go and look up in documentation. So you need to upgrade at least to version 2.8 first. And after that, upgrade to version, whatever version you need to have. So because there's some breaking changes in the protocols and things like that. So I still consider this as a successful stream. I still consider this as a thing that that works great. Even though we learned something. I learned something that the logs actually not what I was expecting it to be. We need to go a little bit deeper on this one, but I really like that exploratory thing. So maybe next time I need to bring some from the Honeycomb. Like I need to go and reach out and hey, so we're doing this like OpenTelemetry thing that we know jack zero things. And that would be great to have an expert. We experts in APIs and gateways and things like that, but some other things it takes time to master. Dear friends, thank you so much for joining us. I remind you that I have today fabulous Danny from Partner Engineering. And it's always great to have her as my co-pilot here. Next time, join us because she will have an upgraded setup. We already kind of she already received huge upgrades for the camera. So the next time you will see better picture quality. This time you see already upgrade. We showed you diagrams. We show you some of the some of the prep before we're doing this. Write down in the comments if you still interested in this thing that I was talking about around doing some cool stuff with the rate limiting, kind of like dissecting the things and from smaller, start building something smaller, maybe starting from the rate limiting across the service mesh and gradually expose this to gateway and controlling all the things, and maybe with all these things how to do like observability. So that's just idea. I'm just throwing some crazy ideas in the air and see what sticks. I really hope that we will get some of the responses from the community. Danny, do you have any last words before we part?
No, this was great. I learned a lot and I had fun.
All right, check out some of the recent blogs from Danny in the konghq.com/blogs. She's constantly writing something new. I always enjoying reading this. And as always, I am Viktor Gamov, and you should have a really good day. And I'm really wishing you a good day. Me and Danny wishing you a very good day. Stay tuned for next episodes. Enable notifications on our YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next one.